Hello, this is the getting started video of Altium Designer. In this video, we'll explore the environment of Altium Designer. So let's get started. I'll just run as administrator. Okay, so this is the welcome screen of Altium Designer, and here on the left we have the project panel, and it's empty now. We can create a new one from here, file, new, and a new project. In this particular tutorial, I'll just open an existing project, and I will introduce you to different parts of the Altium Designer. So I'll just, it's simple. We can browse, and this is the default location in the documents. I'll just move to my required location, and here is the extension for the project file, that is PRG-PCB. That's the extension for the project file. So here I'm going to open a project file. It will take a while, and now you can see in the project panel here that there's a project file qmgd_r. Okay, it's the extension is PRG-PCB, and under the sources documents we have a schematic file, and then we have a PCB file. Similarly, we have libraries, and here PCB library 1 is a library, and if we want to open any of these files, we can just double click it. For example, I want to open this schematic file. I'll just double click, and it will open here on the right. Similarly, if I want to open the PCB file, I'll just double click, and it will also open on the right. Okay, on the status bar you can see some process happening. So now we have opened a schematic file. The extension for the schematic file is .sch doc. sch, that's for schematic doc, and for the PCB file we have a PCB doc. Okay, now to switch between these two windows, we can even have multiple schematic files and multiple PCB files in a single project file. Now to switch between these windows, you can just click from here, the tab, PCB tab, to move to the PCB tab. If you want to move back to the schematic file, you just click the schematic file. You can also move between these two windows just by single click here and here. Remember, if you have closed this window, let me close this one, the single click will not work, so you need to double click it to first open, and then if you want to switch your window, you can just click single click it. Now let me introduce you to the different options here on the screen. On the top we have the menu bar. Here we have the conventional file, edit. These are the options are quite common. The copy and paste, view, zoom in and zoom out, things like that. Okay, the important things you can see here is in the place, design, and tools. Okay, these are three different uh, sub menus uh, where we have important options regarding the schematic. Okay, on the right we have panels, pop-up panels. When you put your cursor, when you hover your cursor, it will pop up. Okay, similarly, if you move your cursor down with the properties, it will show you the properties of a selected object. For example, I select a component and it will show me the properties related to that component. And on the component of panel, we can choose a component that we can drag and drop, and we can add to our schematic. For example, I can just drag this NPN transistor. Okay, if you want to fix it, if you want to dock it here, just press this pin and it will dock here, it will stay here. And now you can see more the effect here that, as I click, now you can see the option here at the bottom tabs. You can see in the bottom the components, the properties and the components. Okay, so if you want to choose a component, you can press this components tab, and if you want to change the property of your component, just move to the properties. For example, I want to select this resistor and want to change the value from 10k to 1k. Let's see, so I'll just press enter and you'll see the effect here. Since nothing is selected here, so you'll see a different kind of option. And if you select something, you'll see its property here, and properties are normally the designator, the comment. You can put a value of let's say resistor or capacitor here, or anything that makes your life easy while reading your schematic. Similarly, the designator is a unique ID of your component. Similarly, you can add some more description to your component. Here's the library from where you have accessed this component. It also shows you this location. You can rotate this component by 0 degree and things like that. So there are different properties here. We'll discuss them in more detail in upcoming lectures. Similarly, when we go to the components, here we have different libraries. We can switch between these libraries, and we can also install custom libraries if you want, the one we generate by ourselves. So that's if we are not interested in this panel, we can just close it here. Similarly, we have we can add, the other thing we can do is we can add a file to the existing project. Let's talk more about the project files. So if you want to add a project, a file to a project, we can just right click and then add new to the to the project. We can add a new file, or we can also add an existing file, the one we created previously. We can just add it to this existing project, and we can also add a new one. So let's add an existing file. It's quite simple. Just browse and let me add, let's say, this one. So now what you can see here is that another project has been another file has been added here, and two things might catch your eyes. That's your sight. That's the red the project file and the schematic file that was previously that I just updated. They got this red annotation, and there's a static in front of them. This represents that there's some changes. Some changes have been made and it's not saved. So you can save that change, or you can reject a change. Let's say I want to save that change, so I'll just press save. So you can see that that static disappears and it's now again in the white color. But we have made a change, the change that we have made to the file that's saved, but the the, the project, it still says that the change to the project is not saved. So to save the project, you need to right click and then save the project. Save. You need to repeat that for the project. Another thing you can do is you can use this option, save all. That means it will not only save the changes to the file, but also will save the changes you made to your project. Okay, so in the middle here is your workspace. You can edit your schematic here, and you can set the size of this sheet depending upon the size of your schematic. You can set the size by going into preferences. Okay, here you can see that gear. It's for setup preferences. You can change your preferences here. You can go to the schematic preferences. Also you can, as I said, you can set the size of your sheet. If you can set it to A4, A3, it's up to you. Similarly, you can set the preferences about your PCB. The PCB is, since we have these are two different files. PCB file is different from the schematic file, so you need to set different preferences for each of them. So once you set your preferences, just press OK. Okay, now we have a active toolbar here. There are very important options here, and you can also find these options here in the place menu, and few even in the other menus like edit. You can you will frequently visit this active toolbar. You'll use the options from here. Please notice that the same the inactive toolbar also appears when you switch to the PCB file. Okay, you can see there's a active toolbar also here, but please notice that it changes when you switch from PCB to schematic file. Please notice this. Okay, this one is different from the one in the schematic. So the active toolbar is actually a context based toolbar. It changes with the file type. Okay, we need the tools we use in the PCB may not be available in the schematic. So similarly, there are tools that we use in the schematic, but they are not available in the PCB. So please notice this important difference. Similarly, please notice the panels here. Here we have the navigator, schematic, filter, and project. And when you move to the PCB file, here you have a PCB filter instead of the schematic filter, and then the navigator in the project. So my point is the option changes when you move from your schematic file to your PCB file. Okay, so that's something you need to notice. Another thing that for the beginner that's a challenge is if you accidentally close your panels. For example, if you close your panel, so that might be a bit irritating how to get back your panels to the right position. So you get two options. You can go to the view, toolbars, panels, and here you can revoke your panels. For example, the project panel, and then you can again go to view, panel, and here our component panel was missing from the right. Okay, so you can revoke them. Similarly, you can also do the same from here. At the bottom you have these panels. You can, for example, revoke the properties panel. So now you're back, they are back to the normal, the components and the properties panel. Similarly, on the left side we had a navigator. So again we are back to normal. So that's how you can reopen your panel if you close them accidentally, or maybe for because of the reason because you were interested in having a space for your workspace, for your editor window. Although we'll discuss the buildings in the upcoming videos, how to build up your schematic and how to navigate through your schematic, but for beginning, let's see how the different nets, uh, how the net operation works. For example, if we are using DC source here, let's say a 3.3 volt, so we are using this net, and wherever else we use this net, it means that it's connected with that point. For example, this net and this net is same, so it means that these 2 points are actually connected. So when we'll trace the PCB, you'll see that these 2 points will be connected. So in order to see which what are the different points where this net is connected, you just press Alt key and press on this net, and you'll see the different places where this net is connected. Plus 3 plus 3.3 b underscore p. You can see the different points, where uh, this net is connected. Okay, here I want to add, you can use the right click and you can drag to move your screen left right. You can use the right click, and you can zoom in and zoom out by pressing Control and then scrolling up and down. You can zoom in and zoom out. Okay, and the cursor position determine the focus of the zoom, right? So once you have selected, you can see that it get masked. Okay, and let me do it again. Only the net that we selected is highlighted. The rest of the schematic gets faded. And to remove this mask, you can press Shift C on your keyboard and you'll get back to normal. The other shortcut is, if you have zoomed in, you can press Control and page down in order to fit the screen, and you can use page up and page down on your keyboard to just zoom in and zoom out. Page up to zoom in, page down to zoom out. Okay. So similarly, you can use Control page down to fit to the screen, the working area. You can fit that to your screen. Now to complete this video, I'll just close this existing project, this open project, and I'll create a new one. As you know, I have opened an existing project here, and I'll show you how to create a new one. So I'll just save any unsaved work, and then I'll right click and close project. I can also go to project and close project. Okay, I can do it both way. I can just press right click and then close project. So this project has been closed. Now I can go to new, create a project. I'll create a new project here. There are different options. We have different templates. We'll stick to the default here and we'll select a location for our project. So for instance, the default location is user, documents, LTM, and projects. And I'll recommend that put your projects in the folder form. Okay, so, you can put them in the form of folder because there will be several files there in addition to the project file. Let me call it a test project, because in addition to project file there will be a schematic file, then there will be a PCB file, and many other files. You'll generate a PDF of your schematic. So you need to have your files inside a folder. So now I have created a project, and you can see there is no document here. I can right click and add a new schematic file. I can also go here, new, and a schematic file, and it will be automatically added to the sources. Similarly, I can add a PCB file as well. Okay, they are both blank files, and you can just save them, give them a name. For example, this is my test schematic, and this is my test PCB. Alright, so now we have created a new project, but the new files, I have saved the new files, the schematic and PCB files, but I haven't saved the project file. So I'll just save my project file. Now you can start building your circuit by dragging and dropping components from the library. You can choose your components from here. You can just drag and drop here, and then you can connect them. Okay, so that's a quick overview of how you can work in the Altium Designer, and we'll get into more details of building a schematic inside the schematic, and then how to convert them into PCB in the upcoming lectures. Also, as I said, you'll not find every components in this component libraries, so you need to build up custom libraries, or you may need to add from an online database. So we'll learn these concepts in the upcoming labs, so stay tuned.